Tulu, I can't say I agree with you 100% about Brantley and Amory being the biggest failure. I think the biggest failure has been Mark Brantley. And the evidence is there to prove it. He is the Minister of Tourism on Nevis, as far as I know. He's getting paid to be the Minister of Tourism on Nevis. He's also Minister of Health, also the Minister responsible for sports. So when you look at the record and the performance, if you were to devise some sort of performance indicators as to how do you judge performance of Mark Brantley and his administration, I would really like to see what rubric you will use, because based on my understanding of performance, there must be some milestones used as markers to say, well, I did this or I did that. Show me something that you have done outside of the ordinary. Show me that you're thinking outside the box. Because when you look at his latest, I like to call them podcast, even not a podcast, his latest pronouncements on Facebook, which is his favorite medium of administering government, he's talking about the wonderful work that Minister Grant would have done in St. Kitts in tourism. How he lauded praises on Minister Grant for surpassing the 900,000 plus mark of visitor arrivals versus on the cruise port Zante. And going further by saying that once tourism does well in St. Kitts, tourism also does well on Nevis. Then what the hell is his job as Minister of Tourism for Nevis? His federal portfolio is not for tourism. His local portfolio is for tourism. And if his job, based on the taxpayers' money of Nevis, sending them here and there to promote tourism across the world, and all he can report back is how well Minister Grant is doing on St. Kitts, that's a colossal failure.
Agreed.
That's a colossal failure. If you can bring to the people of Nevis evidence, performance indicators that you have delivered X, Y, and Z in the tourism product, you are a failure. What is he quoting? A few years ago, they did a little work at the Bath Street. A couple of years ago, they did some work at New River, where tourists can now go into the old estate yard and look at the historical site. Now, I got a problem with New River, because when you're doing a restoration of a historical site, it must be historically accurate. It must reflect what occurred then. When you go there, you're not see. People have gone and put things in places that doesn't bear any facsimile to how it should be. And so people who visit leave there with the wrong impression. And if you're a historian, you'll say, well, these people don't know what they're doing, because this is not factually correct. If you look at healthcare, what has been his performance? What performance indicators are you using to judge his performance in healthcare? Has he delivered dialysis? Has he delivered a better mental health care in Nevis? Has he delivered community health care? Has he reduced the mortality rate of babies? Has he delivered and reduced the mortality of persons suffering from non-communicable diseases? People are dropping left, right, and center from heart disease, from stroke. Has he reduced the incidence of diabetes or the